I know you've done some really interesting work with some prominent musicians, notably Christopher Rouse, the composer, and I know you've actually taken the initiative a little bit in terms of helping him with some of his publicity. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure, and Christopher Rouse is a personal friend of mine, and this happened a few months ago. It was a bit of a fluke. Mr. Rouse was getting ready for his LA premiere of his Requiem, which was received extraordinarily well. It was an incredible piece. And he had invited me out to come and witness this incredible spectacle with the LA Master Chorale. And I said, yeah, but I kind of want to find out what it's like to be in the thick of that. So could I do a little PR for you? And could I set up a couple of interviews for you? And he said, yeah, sure. I mean, I've got people to do that for me, but if you want to, sure. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to try this. And I made some phone calls, made some emails, just to see if I could do it. And he's such an incredible product that he sold himself practically.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
but again, an example of how you take this incredible initiative to work as and offer a particular service on behalf of a colleague. And
right.
That's fascinating.
It was fun, actually.
Wow. Yeah.
Again, it's about salesmanship, as we talked about. When you believe in a product, it sells. That's how I feel. So, of course, Mr. Rouse was easy. I do have clients, of course, that are not on the level of this Pulitzer Prize-winning composer.
So how do you approach that? When you're working with somebody, okay, obviously somebody on Mr. Rouse's level, in a sense, will sell themselves. Now, let's talk about the average musician who has just maybe graduated from conservatory and is looking to build a career from scratch. What are some of the things that you would advise?
I think in terms of, we'll just take the vocalist, for instance. One thing is to know that, say, as you know, I had an unusual path. I went to Europe directly out of my master's degree, which most people don't do. They usually go into a young artist program, and of course they're nurtured as an extension of their schooling, and then they get onto stage little by little. I was just plunked on the stage, essentially.
Wow, right.
But it was an incredible experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. I got an on-the-job training.
Again, I think this speaks to your initiative.
Well,
you're one of these people that can just jump in, do the job, even if you're not quite sure of what the job is.
And trust me, I didn't.
Well, but you seem to find this way of just not being afraid, not letting that hinder you. I think a lot of musicians...
We have
perfectionitis.
Yes, we have perfection, and I don't know, should I do it, should I not do it?
Well, we get so scared of even trying. If it's not absolutely perfect, we'll just, like, even if the opportunity suddenly approaches us, we'll say, well, I'm not ready. I won't jump in. And yet
you're right.
Yeah, you just jump right in.
Most people would say, I think you should really weigh your consequences and be very careful, etc., your image, this and that. And I say, I don't care. I think it's really important to experience it. If it's not the right experience, what do? You leave. I say, go ahead and say yes to it, whatever that may be, and try it. Of course, this has to be within very realistic parameters. Obviously, take for instance, somebody called me to sing Tosca. I'm not going to sing Tosca. It's certainly not my Fach type. But if someone called me and said, hey, guess what? We just had a soprano cancel for a Zerbinetta. Can you be here in 3 days? And I don't know the full role. I certainly know a lot of it. I do it.
Wow.
I would, because I think it's that important. And in terms of, and this is across the board, with that PR thing with Chris Rouse, I just wanted to try. And I was surprised. I thought people took me seriously because A, I knew what I was talking about. I was able to talk about B, a product that I believed in. And it was so easy. So I say... I think it's so easy for a classical musician to get behind that glass wall, so to speak, and be untouchable. I think it's so important to be accessible and to get out there and be adventurous. What's the worst that can happen? It just doesn't work. That's how I feel. And in terms of our changing arts world, you have got to be willing to be flexible. Or otherwise, I just think you're putting yourself in a trap. And if you can adapt to these new things all the time, because as you know, our world is getting faster and faster with all of this technology, et cetera, you've got to be on top of it. That's how I feel. And it's that what have you got to lose mentality. What have you got to lose? You've been given this incredible gift. You've been given this chance to communicate in different ways. Do it. What's going to happen if it doesn't work out quite right? Move on. That's how I feel.
Fantastic. I really appreciate it. I think it's really helpful for other young musicians to kind of hear your energy. You have a tremendous amount of energy, enthusiasm, and I think it's one of the things. Again, granted, people are going to be talented, they're going to sing well, but you seem to have this unique ability to really hone in on the things that will help define your artistry, and you're able to lend that particular talent to so many others as well. So,
well, I think it just all goes back down to the basics in terms of I love what I do. I love art. I love music. It is that important to me to get it out there. We can't just expect people to come to us. We have to reach out to them. And especially since, as you know, the public school systems, they're really whittling down their arts and music programs. And so what is the final frontier? We as musicians have to get out there and educate. And it has to be a large part of what we do. And that's not just children. We have to completely revitalize the way that we inform adults who didn't really necessarily take it seriously and realize that it is a part of our legacy and what we're passing on to the next generation. I'm very passionate about that.
Just want to close off the interview with just give us a little bit of idea of some of the activities that are coming up in the next few months. Oh,
sure. Actually, next week I have an exciting recital in Montpelier, Vermont, at the Bundy Center for the Arts.
Wonderful.
I'm actually doing a joint recital with pianist Jason Kwok. For myself, for my portion of the recital, it will concentrate on Schubert, Respighi, Poulenc, and two songs from a dear friend who's a great composer, Stefania de Canisi. That's in the immediate future. I also will be going back to Europe in November. I'm pretty excited about that, and that will include some concerts. And I'm still working on the actual flow of how that's going to happen. It's still a work in progress, coupled with auditions. In the springtime, I have some concerts as well. One in particular is with the American Modern Ensemble. The entire program is about food. I'm very excited about it, and I'm one of the many guests that will be on there.
Is it going to be catered?
Oh, I'm sure.
Good.
One of the pieces that I'll be singing is by William Bolcom, which is the Green Marshmallow Cottage Cheese Surprise.
Oh, great.
And it's hysterical, and I think I might just make it. I don't think anyone's going to eat it, but yes, of course it will be catered. Yes, so those are sort of the highlights of the year, and of course I have competitions in between as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time to visit and just to speak to the camera and for putting this video podcast together.
Oh, it's a great pleasure.
And we're going to be trying to find some interesting ways to work together. So
I can't wait.
Thanks again.
Thank you.